My company is Crystal Edge Technology Screens. We're going to be doing some very interesting demonstrations. Right now we're downstairs in the shop. We're going to be doing some demonstrations for people who have dedicated theater room setups to explain to you why you do not want to go with a, of course you don't want to go with a screen that's not going to be true black due to the fact that it's not going to be to pick up those contrast levels whatsoever. And at the end of the day, you might be getting something that may not be what it's supposed to be. But let's talk about the real issue here. So bottom line is, I'm in a lot of forum sites on Facebook, and I see a lot of amazing dedicated room setups. And one of the things I see in these demonstrations is I see a lot of either white or gray screens. For some reason, people feel like the lighter the screen, the better the image. And at the end of the day, I'm telling them that is a bad idea because it's like one step off of getting a white screen. You want to get a screen, you get a white screen to begin with in your dedicated room setup, and you find out that the image is washed out, colors, distorted. It looks pretty bad. You want to upgrade. Why would you even upgrade to a light gray screen? If you upgrade to a light gray screen, you're just getting a slight little bump of improvement. You're not really getting what you think you're getting. Number one, contrast levels are gone. Number two, color is definitely gone. White levels are going to be a little bit better, but like I said, at the end of the day, you're going to miss two very important things that are going to be required in order for you to maintain and have a beautiful image. Now, like I said, white levels, there's this thing, it's extremely too dark and you can't pick up anything, then there's a problem. But if you can maintain white levels and still have a very good picture to watch, you got the best of all worlds. Okay, so I'm drinking a little water here. So the screen we have over here on display, we have our Phoenix, or the Advanced Ambient Light Rejection Phoenix screen. We got plenty of tape today, especially got to paint a motorized projection screen today too. We got plenty of tape to do these demonstrations off of. The motorized screen is painted with our Advanced Ambient Light Rejection Black Phoenix 19. Now, we're going to be doing this demonstration with the lights off. That's why it's important for me to be up at a certain time of the day to be able to actually turn the time of the night. Well, I guess it's daytime, consider it, but it's still dark outside. We're going to be using our Christie projector at 4,000 lumens. That's plenty enough power we need to use in this distance right here. And you're going to see exactly all the white light that's going to reflect off the screen. It's going to reflect off the floor. That's why we have the white, drop cloth here, or plastic we have here. So you can see exactly how much light is radiating back at you. And then we have Mr. Mannequin, which sits behind us. If I can find out, where is Mr. Mannequin at? Got him right here somewhere. Oh, here's Mr. Mannequin. You got Mr. Mannequin right here. Mr. Mannequin is painted black, and the reason why it's painted black is we did want something in all white. This would definitely be illuminated in a minute. I wanted to show you, even with the mannequin being black, it's still going to be visible. You're still going to be to see her. You're still going to be to see it because that's how much light is going to be reflected in the background. Everything is just going to light up. So I'm going to put Mr. Mannequin right here on top of the projector right there, so we're good to go. I know I got some people, when I come down to my shop, they be like, kind of break it down, like, where in the freak is his secrets at? No, you won't find them down here. I'll hide my stuff pretty good. Got lock boxes down here, people. Lock boxes. All right, let's put this over here, because we're not going to need this today. I think if the weather's good, I'm going out on the motorized projection screen, because I like to change up my environments. I can't stand doing the same environment over and over again. Drives me freaking nuts. I got to change things up. So I'm probably going to do an outside demonstration. If the weather's good, I'm probably going to do it on a motorized projection screen on that one right there outside. All right, so let's start off by getting this stuff out of the way first. And this time I learned to cut the Wi-Fi off my phone and just use my data plan, because my Wi-Fi down here, which should be quite, I don't get it at all, I don't understand it. Outside, 27 feet away from the screen. No, we're still jacked up at 27 feet away from the screen. Yeah, we are. So, yeah, it's better just to use the data plan instead. Which I still can't figure out how the rest of the stuff picks up. There's no problem whatsoever. Let me get my chair ready, so I can be nice and comfortable for this. Now, as I said before, those of you who have dedicated room setups, the worst thing you want to go with is you do not want to deal with a light screen or a white screen. Darkest screens you're going to be to go with, it's going to be the Dark Star 9. Elite screens, we're doing the demonstration now on our certified screens. for dedicated setups. But those are the darker screens, ones that are going to cost you more money. Like the Dark Star 9 daylight screens, it's going to about $4,000, $5,000 screens. I rarely see those. When I go to forum sites and I go to check out people's different setups, I rarely see a 120-inch black diamond sitting in there. It's rare you see one in there. It's rare you see a $3,000, $5,000 screen sitting up in a dedicated theater room. Majority of ones I've seen in those setups are usually white or light gray, because the screens are expensive, very expensive. And if you want to go 150-inch, whoo, man, I hope you got some deep pockets, because you're going to need it. All right, so let's go in here and let's click the projector on. Now we're going to be using a 720p projector. We're using my Christie LW401. We're not using any 4K. We're not using any 1080p. We're at 4,000. We're going to do it strictly in the dark. Just to show you exactly. We got Mr. Mannequin in the background. Mr. Mannequin is going to represent how much light is bouncing back into your face at 4,000 lumens, bouncing off a white screen, bouncing off a gray screen. And I'll show you in the demonstration that the gray screen, any grid levels, different colors, are just going to give you a slight little bump. That's basically about it. That's all you're going to get out of it. At the end of the day, the darker screens are going to perform much better, as we've seen in previous demonstrations. All right, so let me get this adjusted. Let's see. We need to get that. Where's it at? It's in here somewhere. My projector's turned to the back, so I'm kind of used to knowing exactly what has to be. We got the meter down here because we're going to be doing some demonstrations. When I'm using a meter, I don't have to add extra lights in the environment. You know why? Because the environment generates that much light. You're watching demonstrations, people are using meters and have to add extra lights in the environment. That's not good. That shows you at the end of the day that the environment was dark to begin with, if you had to add extra light in there. You should be able to use the light in your environment without adding any extra light to the environment. Keep in mind, that's still a false reading at the end of the day. The reason why it's a excuse me. The reason why it's a false reading at the end of the day, because if I'm showing you off an ambient light control, ambient light environment, if I add any extra light to that with a meter, that means I'm falsifying my readings. Because keep in mind, when you buy that product, you're not going to have those extra lights in your environment, are you? No. You're supposed to read the lights that you have in the environment. Don't add anything extra to it, because that means you're falsifying your readings. Now I got my meter down here. This is my work area. My work area uses actual work lights. It's a lot of light that generates down here. So you can overhead work lights. There they are right there. They're quite bright down here. And we'll come over here, pop the meter right here. And it's funny because, remember, I brought this one first. But like I said, you can't use cell phone apps. Cell phone apps are unreliable. They're very unreliable. You got to get something that's certified, the real deal. All right, we're going to power this thing up. Now, if I'm this close right now, if I'm that close, I'm not even that far. It doesn't pick up. It doesn't read. That's how much light generates down here. I have to stick this thing down on the floor in order to get a reading, because the light is that strong in here. And my lounge area, we call it Taco Land, or Taco Land. In that area, meters don't pick up in there. There's so much light pushing to the environment, meters don't even pick up in there. So on my meter, as you can see, mine goes up to 200,000 or 20,000. When I go outside, I have to put this on a multiply of 10. It doesn't pick up outside, period. There's too much ambient light pushing out there right now. So look at this. When you set this on the floor, like I said, light constantly fluctuates as you move. Now, watch this. I'm going to basically get it on. And right now, there's no sunlight, nothing passing through the house at all. Yeah. So we got no sunlight. Keep in mind, no sunlight. Nothing's passing through the house. That's my meter jumping. Told you, automatically. You're worrying about 1,800. This room generates 1,800 easy, 1,900 easy. We even at sometimes go off the scale and won't pick up without adding any extra lights to the environment. Not needed. See how? Watch this. And this is about adding any extra light. Don't need it. So automatically, when I step foot down here, see my meter blinking on and off? It's having a hard time registering down here. It's that much light generating in this environment by itself. That's why when people sit there talking about meter readings, like meter, and you kidding me? You have any idea how much ambient light my environments generate? Like they generate a ton of ambient light. I never had a meter reader. I was kind of curious exactly how much light our screens were literally taking in. But down here, this is the workshop. So this is where we developed the technology at. This is the best place to test a screen for ambient light. We got to work here, and then we can go outside and test out there. Best two areas to play at when we're doing ambient light projection tests. So if they're talking about meter tests, we had an easy 1900 in here, and we can knock off the meter quick because we have to add any extra light in the environment. When you watch any kind of meter test, you will notice there's no extra light unless they're doing like they're growing plants or something like that. They don't have extra lamps in there. But other than that, if you're doing a theater room setup and you want to measure how much light you have in the environment, there should be no extra lights in there. Only the lights that should be in there, the lights that came with the environment. That's it. So that's what I wanted to explain. But I see that little red lamp in the corner. No, you're not supposed to have that in there. That should never be in your environment. You have to record your environment exactly how you record it every single day. If that's the case, that little red lamp should be included in every single video demonstration that you do. If not, you're falsifying your demonstration. Now, if I add extra light to this environment, man, please. Are you kidding me? I got spotlights right there, right in my closet. I got spotlights in there. Use them for work when I'm working on something. All right, so let's take this. Isn't about light meters and all that stuff. At the end of the day, look at that. See it? So it's jumping off the scale. It's not picking up. So there's so much light in the environment. It's jumping from 1900 back and forth to tipping off the meter. So in order for that to read correctly, if I want a correct read on that, I have to put that 10 times as we use them outside. I think this may be the brightest room in the house. Besides the tech room. The tech room is pretty bright. It's really bright. All right, so let's begin. And as you can see, as I told you, when you're doing a demonstration, not only are you going to show a high meter reading, but your image is going to have to be able to maintain. This is a black screen that's maintaining this image next to a white screen the entire time we're talking. And by the way, this is a Phoenix. All right, so let's see what we got to do to get this party started. Let's see, let's bring it all the way down. All right, I'm going to bring this down a little bit more. I like this. The colors of the Phoenix are absolutely amazing. Phoenix is one we had outside on the deck. We're playing Dragon Ball Z off of. All right, that's good right there. That's perfect. Let's go with let's go to whatchamacallit real quick. We can start off with the color red first. Red screen. I wonder, oh, this one's turned down because of whatchamacallit. That should be good. That's good. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna hop upstairs, get my lights real quick. I got to do another demonstration for Viewstorm. I think it's the best place to do this demonstration for Viewstorm is down here. And let's begin. If you gotta, as I said before, if you gotta do a meter reading, and you gotta add extra lights in your video, that shows you at the end of the day, your environment was dark to begin with. That's what it shows. Shouldn't have to go through all that. All right, so this is for you people with dedicated theater room setups. As you can see, we have the black screen down. And take a look at the floor. See how dark the floor is right there? All right, so this screen is basically blocking, at least I'd say about, I'll go with around 95% of the light that could be pushing off a white surface. When we bring the screen up, you're going to see Mr. Mannequin over there start to get, you're going to see him a lot more now. You can't, that's why we did him in black, so you can't see him at all, period. Just to show you how much light's going to reflect off the screen in a couple of minutes. So let's start bringing it up. And for those of you who've been asking me questions about painting motorized projection screens, with our screen paint, I've done this demonstration over and over again. You can roll it up, roll it down, roll it up, roll it down. It's up to you. Now we have the floor, all this done, so you can see exactly how much light is reflecting off. Not only are you getting a washed out faded image, this is how much light's pushing off your screen. This is why when I watch people and have dedicated room setups, even if the walls are black, doesn't make a difference. I can still see the light coming off their walls. Now we got to give credit to Black Screen Innovation, even though I'm not a big fan of them. I'm really not. But they did do, they were the ones actually were doing these demonstrations first on that screen, having the white screen come over. They're the ones who started that to begin with. So you got to give credit where credit is due. Let's check out Mr. Mannequin behind us. Look how much light is hitting Mr. Mannequin. Mr. Mannequin needs sunglasses. Okay, so bring it up. All right, we're going to stop it right there. We're going to bring it back down. That's how much light is reflecting right back at you. Oh, it's even worse when it's white. So the white pops up on your screen. There you go. Let's bring it down. So now as the screen goes down, you will see this area become dark. Now you're at 4,000. If I bought the 7,000, I got 7,000 lumen projector upstairs. Yeah, this area would be lit. There you go. Simple and plain. That's how much light reflects off a white screen. Gray screens do the exact same thing. The difference is that the darker the screen, the more light it's going to have a less of a chance of reflecting back all over your environment. When you do a dedicated theater room setup, a dark environment, you don't want light reflecting all over the environment. Even if your walls are black, it's still going to reflect some of that light. The only technology that has the ability to absorb actual light is Venta-Black technology. You can paint your room as dark as you want. You're still going to reflect some kind of white light that's going to ricochet off that screen. That screen has the ability to absorb 100% white light. And only two screens can do that. There's one called 0.0 black, which is a guy over in England who made that one. And there's another one called the Venta. The Ventos are the two screens that can absorb 100% white light. Other than that, if you got a theater room, you're still reflecting light all over the place. Mine, this screen's only 92 inches. Imagine it's at 120 inches. So the bigger the screen, the more light you're going to reflect all over your environment. Just bring it back up again. And then at the end of the day, as I told you before, you people that I see with 4,000 lumen projectors, 4K, the top of the line projectors, at the end of the day, you're not seeing red. You honestly believe you're seeing red. You're not seeing red. At the end of the day, you're looking at a washed out image. My projector is nowhere near in the caliber of some of the projectors I've seen on these forum sites. And I can do this demonstration to look. That's exactly how much of your color, why you got to calibrate, all this other crazy stuff. And if you put it in a dark environment, you still can't achieve that picture quality. Look at the floor. There you go. I got to do an area in here. I got to do a photo area in here. That's what I need. I need to bring one of those photo bars in here so I can have a white sheet going all the way around so I can simulate. We're going to do two simulators. We're going to do one in black. We're going to do one in white. Show you how much light is reflecting off your black surfaces. We don't have people want to come and say, well, you know, my dedicated room is all black. Well, we're going to do a simulation setup down here where we're going to have a photo setup right here and here, where I can bring the screen a little bit more, simulating the roof and walls in this one area right here. So you can see exactly, even if you have your walls all in black, you're still reflecting light all over the place. And even at the end of the day, not only are you getting the reflection, but your color quality, contrast is gone. You don't have any of that, period. And if I bring a projector down here with a 20,000 to 1 contrast ratio, you're still not going to pick up that contrast level. All right, so let's bring it up again. Let's have a look at Mr. Mannequin in the background. Let me get some sunglasses for Mr. Mannequin. He's been complaining about the light. It's like you're opening up the window to Mars. There you go. All right, next I'm going to be doing these demonstrations with Vivid Storm too, and we're going to be doing these demonstrations with some of the higher screens, like the darker gunmetal screens. We're going to be doing these demonstrations. That's why those screens, they want so much money for these screens. These screens are designed to actually absorb light. Let's see, we're going to go with first. Okay, over here, now, I don't want anybody going off hoo-hoo and ha-ha in this demonstration. Understand that this individual does not own the rights to all gray screen paint. So if that was the case, that means every person who makes a gray screen paint product on eBay, he would have claim to that, and he doesn't. This is our Digital 1 Crystal Screen Paint. As I said before, only two products we're going to be using is the Digital 1 Crystal Screen Paint, and we're going to be using the Bare Silver Screen. That's it. That's all we're going to be using. Most people know that Digital 1 doesn't exist anymore. So the first thing they're going to go to, and anytime they're going to go to Bare Silver Screen. It's the first thing. I hear it a lot from customers. Yeah, I painted my screen with Bare Silver Screen. It looks great. Like, nah, no, it doesn't. It looks bad. And we're going to be doing this demonstration to show you why it doesn't look so bad. All right, so let's take our screen here. This is our Digital 1 Crystal Screen Paint. Now, remind you, we own the rights to this. If you basically care to check out any of the demonstrations under Digital 1 Crystal Screen Paint, I'll put a keyword link below where you can see my old previous demonstrations from way back in the day when I first started off with gray screen paint products. All right. So as I said before, the gray screen is going to give you a bit of a bump. That's it. That's as far as it's going to go. And some people will look at this and go, well, I'm seeing red. At the end of the day, I'm telling you, you're not seeing red. You're seeing still a better version of the red on the white screen, but it could be much better, especially if you're using a projector that's way better than mine. See, there you go. At the end of the day, people, the darker the screen, the more expensive the screen. This is why if you go call any one of these companies up and you say, hey, look, I want your best top performance screens, they're not going to direct you to a gray screen. They're not going to direct you to a white screen. They're only going to direct you to a mid-gray screen, which is actually would be the Cinema Gray 5D or 3D. They're going to direct you to the flagship, the big boy, the big cheese, the black, or either one of the dark gunmetal. The darker the gunmetal, the more expensive the screen will become. If you don't believe me, like I said, go do your research. Don't listen to a thing I'm saying. Go do your research and find out how much these screens cost. I've had customers come back and like, you've got to be kidding me. That's more than a car payment. That's literally a down payment for a house. Or not down payment, more like for an apartment. Yeah, they cost that much money. If you want a DMP Supernova at 180 inches, you got $17,000 floating around, you can have one. Some of these screens at 100 inches, $3,000, all the way up to $4,000 or $5,000, maybe more than that, depending on what they come with. Now that's mine, it's fixed frame. When you start talking about motorized projection screens, you're talking about even more money because now you got a motor attached to it. If it's tension, it's even more money. So yeah, it can cost you a lot of money. So already, trying to get a darker screen, you're already about $5,000 in the hole already. You haven't even purchased your sound system, you haven't purchased your seating, your lightings, and all that stuff. For those who have dedicated setups, you know, you got to spend a lot of money. When I watch these demonstrations where I see them installing these screens in these theater rooms, I'm like, ugh, I know how that's going to turn out. And that's why they get the expensive projector, because the expensive projector has to make up for what the screen can do. Let me know if you ever see a demonstration saying, well, this is a screen by so-and-so and so, and today we're going to be using our Christie LW401 720p projector, and this, no, you'll never see that. Now keep in mind, even dark gray products that claim to be gunmetal screens still have to produce high white levels. They still have to be tested the same way black screens have to be. So once you start hitting that area of really, really dark screens, gray screens that are very close to being black screens, they all have to be tested the same way. Because those screens, the white levels drop even faster. than if you have a light gray screen close to a white screen. White levels are going to maintain, but your color is going to drop, contrast is going to drop. It's a give and take relationship. So when you see somebody showing up a very dark gray screen, they're going to have to be to display white levels versus a white screen. That's how you can see the comparison. If there's no comparison in there and they're just showing the screen on a standalone, basically at the end of the day, you have nothing to compare it to at all, period. That's like trying to check out a Lamborghini and another car that doesn't exist. Oh, it's here, but trust me, this is a specification sheet. You can't go and you can't test it. No, it's just here. You have to do a side-by-side comparison. Let's pop the hood on this one, pop it on that one, check out the transmission, the engine on that one, back and forth, take it for a test drive, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, that's how that works. But anyway, yeah, you have to do those tests, because at the end of the day, if you don't, I'm going to show you what's going to happen with an untested product. And keep in mind, it's nothing to do with this individual. You can take it any way he wants. It's nothing to do with this individual. If he gets upset over this, and this is a product that has nothing to do with his product, that shows you at the end of the day, it's another red flag. You got to watch out for it. So we're going to take the product. We're going to show you that we're going to make our own dark product and show you that when untested, if you put that against a white screen, you're going to see very, very dark levels come up. And that's going to affect you also too in your dedicated room setup. All right, let's bring it back up. Now we're going to have to do a demonstration strictly with the gray screen and one strictly, we have one with the white screen, and one strictly with the gray screen. So that way you can see that if we do the same setup, because right now a lot of the light that's pushing off the screen is coming around the white screen. So we need something dedicated just strictly for the gray screen by itself. So we're going to be setting it up. I'm going to be picking up some more fabric, some more 100-inch screens. We're going to be coating that one with some gray paint. And we'll see if we get the same reaction on Mr. Mannequin that we do with the gray screen. I guarantee we are, because right now you can see already from the door, we're not picking up color also well. On basic red, we're just doing basic red. And we're not picking up. We had to be up early in the morning for this, because this is not a demonstration I can do in a fully lit environment, as you can see. Now, let's go over here and let's get some colors here. Let's get a little blue in there. Everybody likes blue. Blue screensaver. So let's see. Ooh, it's a lot of white light picking back, ain't it? A lot of white light. Let's get the blue coming up. There's the blue. This is why you're told at the end of the day, from any company's going to tell you this. Any company, anybody who does this is going to tell you, you got to calibrate. Why do you have to calibrate? Because bottom line, you're having problems because your colors don't look correctly. There's nothing wrong with your projector. You should not be calibrating your projector in this decade in time. You shouldn't be doing that. I've never calibrated a projector a day in my life. Why would I? Screen's supposed to do all the work. I don't understand how we have such advanced technology and projectors, but screens haven't even caught up yet. And I got a projector here that was discontinued in 2014. Think about that. 2014, my projector was discontinued. It's not having a problem. It was never calibrated. So how do you have a projector that's from 20 or 20 or 20 or 21 that has to be calibrated because the colors aren't coming up correctly? Again, ain't nothing wrong with the projector. It's your screen at the end of the day. There's blue popping up. I told you with the gray screen paint, you're going to get a bit of a bump. That's it. I have people thinking that because they have the biggest, misconception when it comes to light gray screens, that people will tell you that it's a barefaced lie that, oh, if you have a light gray screen, you'll be to pick up higher and brighter colors. No, you're actually picking up a faded, washed out image. That's what you're picking up. Because if that's the case, then white screens would be all the rage, wouldn't it? I mean, everybody would be buying a white screen, because the highest white level you can pick up is off a white screen, which means that would pick the highest and brightest white levels. But for some reason, that screen seems to fade out. And now you have to go to a screen that's a little bit darker in order to get your colors to pop better. You kind of see where this is all going at right now? So now the darker the screen, the more advanced the color and contrast becomes. But at the same time, you're still going to have to maintain a white level high enough to be able to pick up those nice, beautiful, bright colors, and also maintain your contrast at the same time and have an even white level without everything going down the drain. Oh, and they thought it was easy to do. It's not. It's very hard to do. But when you have your Lord and Savior giving you directions on how to do things, well, it gets a little easier, a lot easier. Let's go to, let's see, let's do some contrast. In the dark, mind you, with contrast. Starfield screensaver. She says this every time. Cancel. Starfield screensaver. Yeah, it's like an argument we have back and forth. Yeah. Good thing about it, she has no access to the gas. And I told you that when you're dealing with lighter products, as in lighter screen paint products, one of the things I noticed they would do these demonstrations in the dark because they have a better chance of picking up a contrast level in a dark environment. And we're going to do these against certifieds. Interesting thing about certified screens is certified screens, like I said, even though they have that interesting reflective surface on them, they can maintain their contrast levels and white levels perfectly on a white screen. Perfectly. Where some of these other products I see out here can't do it. Now you're looking at this and you're probably thinking, well, Ken, that's contrast right there. I see contrast. No, actually you're seeing gray. That's what you're seeing. At the end of the day, you're not seeing black. You're actually seeing a shade of gray. But that's contrast. No, that's an actual shade of gray. They don't like to see this, but you're going to have to accept it. Gray screens can't see contrast. I don't know what Harry Potter, Mickey Mouse fantasy this came from, but gray screens cannot see contrast. This is what your screen is supposed to look like. That's what you're supposed to be seeing. Right, this is a projector behind me with a 4,000:1 contrast ratio. It's an old projector. I bet you half of you guys setting up home theater setups, dedicated theater rooms, wouldn't even touch that projector with a 10-foot pole. But I guarantee at the end of the day, how much money you spent on your expensive projector, I can take that projector with this screen and I could blow your screen clean out of the water without breaking a sweat, with no problem. Don't even got to calibrate it. Don't care. Set it anywhere I want. And you got to be in line with the ceiling. Just throw it in the corner, turn it on, and I can blow your screen up with no problem. Even with your $4,000, $5,000 projector. Because at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with your projector. It's your screen that's having the issue. Because if you have such a high contrast ratio of 2 million or even 3 million to 1 on your projector, then what's the problem with you doing that demonstration in a fully lit environment? These are conversations I had. Well, I see when you turn the projector on. They turn the projector on, showing up the screen because they want to show off their speakers. They want to show off their speakers. They want to show off the artwork they have on the wall. Yes, it's a dedicated theater room setup. They got a lot of pretty stuff down there going on. They want to show all this off on Facebook. I got this, I got that, and so on, so and so. And you turn the projector on, they got this city skyline, and it's washed out. You can see all the tannish around the screen. You can see the contrast level is not picking up. What's the contrast ratio on that thing you got over there? It's a huge, massive vending machine projector strapped to the ceiling. What's your contrast on? We got like 3 million to 1 on here. Really? And this is what you're picking up? Oh no, this fantastic. When the lights go out, it looks amazing. No, it doesn't. You're actually seeing gray. You're not seeing black. Let me go sit down here. I don't know why I'm standing up to begin with having this conversation. So this is what's going on in your dedicated theater room. Again, you're reflecting too much light back at Mr. Mannequin. And you're not picking up black levels as you think you are. Now, like I said, can a dark gunmetal screen do this if someone makes it? Yeah, it could do the same thing with the contrast levels. The only problem you're going to have with the gunmetal, which we're going to do some demonstrations on that too. The problem you're going to have with that is you're going to have to worry about your white levels picking up. That is going to be a problem. Because unless your screen has some capability of seeing white light, that's going to be your problem at the end of the day. This is why anytime when someone's developing any kind of black screen, I don't care who it is, who's developing a black screen paint product, one of the demonstrations that has to be shown is black paint, because you have to make sure, whether you're a consumer or you're doing business with that individual, that you're not being fleeced and you're actually buying a black screen that can physically see white light. Because you can get the same reaction off black paint, black speaker fabric, black sheets, pillowcases will do the exact same thing. If you're showing off any kind of dark visual or any kind of dark demonstration or colors, they will pick up, especially if it's on a standalone by itself. There's nothing there to really compare it to, especially as having a screen that's black as the screen you're looking at. You have to show a difference. So when I do demonstrations and I show this product, this comes up all the time. How do I know this is not black paint that I'm buying? At the end of the day, someone just want to find out that they spent $4,000 or $5,000 worth of black paint. Not even $329 worth of black paint. So you have to show a difference. And the reason why they do the pour out, because one of the tricks that people do, and this is nothing new. One of the tricks that people do is when they're trying to claim a screen to be able to be black, it'll be actually a very dark gunmetal. I've seen this with certified screens, do this all the time. They'll say a screen's black and you get it like, wait a minute, this is not black, this is freaking gunmetal. That happened to me a couple of times when I've had screens down here, and I literally thought, looking on camera, looking at the screen itself, that it was basically black. But if they had a black surface next to it, then you would have saw the screen was actually physically a dark gunmetal screen and not a black screen. Now the screen we have upstairs called the Cinema Gamer, that screen is a seriously dark gunmetal. If you look at it, they look black. If I take a black screen or something next to it, I just see, look, it's not black. You can clearly see the gray in the screen. So that's one of the things you don't see. That's one of the things I didn't see when I got daylight surface down here, because I literally thought that was a black screen got there. It was like, this is gunmetal. It's not black. So that's another thing. But the thing about that particular screen is, even though it's dark as it is, it still can maintain a very good white level. The Darkstar 9, very good white level. Now, when I've seen other products that try to do the same exact thing, they run into problems where their white levels come up really, really low. And I mean really low, which means the product was probably either rushed, never tested. I'm pretty sure when these big companies were developing these screens, they went through all kinds of process to test them, to make sure the white levels were good, to make sure the colors were good. They did all that. They did that right from the door. There's no anywhere they could get that certification attached to the side of that screen without going through those tests. This is why we display our tests live, so everybody can see the tests being done. It's all out in the open, way out beyond public record. We can go into our channel, you can look up any demonstration you want. Hey, if you tested this on white screens, have you tested this on certifieds, have you tested this outside, what's the biggest screen she tested on, what's the lowest limit projector, it's all there for you to see. We don't have nothing to hide. But in the demonstrations I've seen, like I said, when we get them down here, they fail because they can't seem to pick up contrast. They can't seem to pick up the white levels. So that's going to be another problem we're going to have to deal with. But until then, let's go and let's get the OLED horse. Panasonic 4K demonstration. If you can't pick up a star field, you ain't picking up much else. Oh, great goodness. There we go. There's a blinding light. That's not the one I wanted, but and as I said before, be very careful about talking about Phoenix technology. Phoenix technology is extremely good. Not as advanced as the Phantom, but it is very, very good. As you can see in the dark, look at this. As you can see, there's no way in the world that the light gray screen paint we have under digital crystal screen paint could ever turn a Phoenix dark. Not even the white screen can do it. Now, if someone actually had a real Phoenix, an actual real one, well, you would see the difference. If you don't have the real Phoenix, then there's no way in the world you're going to be able to produce white light, because the Phoenix has a heightener technology embedded into it. It allows it to be able to read white light. So any screen that does a demonstration and that screen comes up that dark, especially next to a gray screen, it's not the real thing. Mind you, this is technology we have outside at two back-to-back 150 inches outside. Those projectors sit 27 feet away from the screen, and a Phoenix can pull up an image at 551, a white snowstorm at 190-degree viewing angle. Let's secure the other screens off. This is why in a dedicated theater room, you want to go with a black screen. I'm planning to put a professional dedicated theater room setup. Not here. I don't have the room here. But where I'm planning to move to, I am planning to put in a high-tech dedicated theater room put in. I may do a curved screen. I've never had them. I want a couple of curved screens in my home, but I'm definitely going to do one. And I'll show you in a demonstration. That room is going to be jet black. Even the screen's going to be jet black. It's going to have phantom technology in there. And you're like, oh my goodness. You're going to see something you've never seen before. And we'll do it at a high-end 4K. As a matter of fact, I want a machine back there to be to switch out my projectors. So like a Lazy Susan with projectors back there, that's what I want. So I can swap out from 1000, swap out the 720p, swap out the 4K, swap out the 10K. I'm sorry, the 10K, sorry, way too high. Swap out, different projectors, or I can switch them back and forth. So like I said, a friend of mine, he's an engineer, and I'm running these ideas past him. He said, well, whatever you need, I can build it. So just supply him with the money, whatever he needs, and let him go to town. And that's how my setup's going to be, where I can swap my projectors out when I do demonstrations. All right, let's go see if we can grab that. Oh, we got a fireworks display over here with relaxing music. Again, look at the gray screen. Product, you think you're actually seeing a contrast level. Notice the black technology, when rolling over, it still maintains its white level, giving you bright, beautiful colors, and maintaining this contrast level at 100%. Also canceling out the light in the environment at the same time. And making a cheap projector behind me look amazing. Now, like I said before, whether this be digital and crystal screen paint, because it is digital and crystal screen paint, any other, there's nothing special about any other grade screen paint products. I'm telling you that from the door. We've done these tests already before. There's nothing special about them. The one product was claiming to be able to have contrast levels equal to black screens, but even in a demonstration next to a screen that wasn't even clearly black, that screen beat the daylights out of that screen. It did. It pulled better contrast, it pulled better color. White levels were bad because I can tell you white levels were never tested. So what happens when you don't test your white levels? You have to test them. Let's go over and try to find that OLED horse. Panasonic 4K demonstration. And that's a lesson to anybody. Make sure that you test your white levels. There's the OLED horse right there in all its glory. And look at that right there. Some people I know have white screens. They were like, no, Mr. Bird. That white screen, the contrast on my white screen looks amazing. No, it doesn't. Contrast on my gray screen looks amazing. No, it doesn't. You know why? Because in the OLED horse, you have to look at the background. Don't look at the horse. You look at the background. And the OLED demonstration shows multiple shades of black levels in the demonstration. It's a shame because when people watch these demonstrations, they clearly don't understand what they're looking at and what OLED's trying to explain to you by showing off the different levels of black contrast levels. How this screen, when this comes down, you'll be seeing the mane of the horse has a different color, the saddlebag, her pants are a different shade of black. There are multiple shades of black going off, but the darkest shade that will be produced in this video will be the background. OLEDs are known for that. Their backgrounds are extremely dark to make everything else pop. Even the black layers on top of the black is noticeable in an OLED demonstration. That's why the screens are actually, TVs are actually amazing. Now, look at the background. Don't pay attention to the horse. The horse is not even important. If you look at the background, you see the horse. That's how it's supposed to be displayed. In any OLED demonstration, where people make this mistake is where they basically try to show off the screen and they go, oh, look at it. You can see the horse. It's not the horse you should be looking at. It's the background behind the horse is what you should be looking at. That's the image that has to come up black. The backgrounds in OLED demonstrations are always darker than the contrast that they have on the actual screen. If you can't see that in the background, that means your screen's not seeing contrast levels. That's why I look at a demonstration, but you can see the horses right there. Your background is completely washed out. You're not picking up a contrast over at all. And if you can't pick up that black background, you're sure not even picking up the proper color that's coming off that horse. Now, see the horse's mane? See how it's different from the horse's body? All that, different shades of black. Now look at the background on the gray screen compared to the background to the black screen. There you go. You see it now? If you can't pick up the background, you're definitely not going to pick up the shade of black that the horse is actually demonstrating. As for you people with white screens, well, you already know the deal behind that one. So that's how much contrast you get from this screen to that screen to the white screen. And when people look at this, they think they're seeing actual black. You're actually seeing gray. This is all gray. Now look at the background. See the difference between the mane when it comes down over top the gray screen. Look at the body of the horse. Now you're seeing black. You're seeing black with a projector of 4,000 to 1. People think they go out and they spend all this money for a projector because it has all these millions and millions of contrast ratio, blah, 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 blah. You're never going to see it ever. You've just paid for half a projector. That's pretty much what you just paid for. Came into a store and said, let me get that projector over here. Let me cut this thing in half and let me take the rest of your money and you go about your business, because that's pretty much what you did. That's what you're getting back. This is why when I tell you that when you watch my demonstrations do take some time, they do. But there's so much you have to know about. They're skipping so much out of their demonstrations. Like I said, when I showed the demonstration with elite screens and they're going and they're showing their screens, looking at the environment, number one, too dark. And number two, they had all the screens blocking every last window. They had lights sticking behind the back of the screen. Condensed lighting was hitting the back of the wall. It wasn't actually attaching the screen. And all the projectors in the environment were either short throw or ultra short throw, which means distance throw was nowhere to be found. And the environment was dark. You can see when the camera came to the hallway and then came to that little corridor, and when it came in, it got dark in there. Yeah, the whole room was set up. Then they pick out certain select videos and this, that, and the other. You will never see the same demonstrations I'm showing you right now, because all that's rehearsed. All those projectors are calibrated. Everything's set up. They got certain videos picked out. It's all rehearsed. We don't do rehearsed over here. And this is why I show you all this. This stuff you need to know. This helps you along the way on what you need to look for when you're basically shopping for a screen. At the end of the day, like I said, don't buy from me. Go do your research first. Before you don't even bother going to my website. Go do your research. Compare my videos to everybody else online. Then you come back to me. Do your research. I would rather have you do your research. Because when you're watching a demonstration and someone's showing off an OLED horse and that environment is dark, they're basically producing that in a dark environment, and every time you see that demonstration or any kind of contrast demonstration, they're always being displayed in the dark. At the end of the day, that tells you that screen can't see contrast levels in a fully lit environment, and the screen can't pick it up. But let's come on. I like another one here. We're going to do this one with a little bit of color in there. Now, this is a perfect example right here. Look at the saddlebag. Saddlebag, all these are different shades of black that's going on in this one shot. I love this particular shot. Got the black background, you got the saddlebag. I mean, a padding. I don't know much about horses. I don't know much. Someone will probably correct me on that one. I guess that's a padding for the saddle right there. But then like this, all these are different shades of black that are going on. That's what I appreciate about the OLED demonstration. People will show this off, like I said, and they'll show up the horse, and they think because you can see the horse, the screen is showing contrast. You have completely missed the entire demonstration altogether. You misread it. The background is what you have to be to produce, that dark black background. The one they never showed the most, one of the demonstrations I've never seen done the most is the OLED beta fish. You know why? Because that background is definitely jet black, and you see very little passing back and forth on the screen. The more they have passing back and forth on the screen, the better chance they have of basically producing a somewhat contrast level. Let's bring our screen up and get it out of the way. Show you what you actually are getting. Right there. See how your screen faded all the way across? See how it faded all the way across? Look at the saddlebag. Look how barely the saddlebag came up. The padding, all that. And I had a customer one time almost get into an argument with me over a white screen. Like I guess he wanted to talk about his projector. I don't know at the end of the day, people. I don't know. But he wanted to talk about his projector, and he wanted to brag about this white screen he got, and so on, so on, so on. I'm like, man, I mean, are you kidding me? Like, seriously, I do these demonstrations all the time on white screens. Like, the screen looks like crap, man. Well, my projector is so and so. No, no, no. I'm pretty sure your projector is legit. I'm pretty sure it'll do what it needs to do, but your screen, on the other hand, is crap. Now we're going to take half of this. We got to get some bare silver screen. I'm going to paint half of my screen here with bare silver screen. We'll have the digital one on this side, and we'll have the bare silver screen on that side. This is a wake-up call for those who have dedicated theater rooms. Like I said, I'm in forum sites. I'm in a couple of forums, 8 or 9 forum sites. I'm in there constantly all the time. And I'm in there talking with these people, and I see amazing setups. And yeah, they turn their lights on. They turn their lights on because, come on, if you didn't spend over like $200,000 or $300,000 on a dedicated room setup, and you've got some pretty cool stuff in there, you know what I mean, posters and memorabilia and all this stuff all over the place, wouldn't you want to show that off too? So yeah, they have the lights on. They show off how cool the seating's on, the lights on. You've seen how it looks before. And I'll have the screen on, and you'll watch the image just wash out and fade. But people expect that. That's a normal for them. They go, okay, you know, because it's a dedicated room, the light's going to be out anyway. I can have a dedicated theater room. I can have every light fired up in that bad boy, and I can sit there and read a book and watch the screen at the same time, or turn the lights out if I want. But at the end of the day, even if you're in the dark, you're still not picking up contrast, and you're still not seeing color. That's the big part right there. Even if it is designed, when people say, well, it's designed to be in a dark environment. All right, that's true, that's true. But are you picking up true contrast and color? Yeah, that's the big one right there. I've had my projector custom calibrated. I don't know why. Now look at the red shirt right here. Nice red shirt. Oh, that's going to wash out. See the horse? The background, I told you, OLEDs. Backgrounds are jet black to make the horse stand out. Let's see how this one goes. We don't have to have the lights on. Because, you know, people sit there and say, I have some people say that black screens can't react in the dark. Are you freaking kidding me? Do you have any idea what this technology looks like with the lights out? I mean, you thought it looked impressive with the lights on. Are you kidding me? This has, woo, man, you have no idea. You have no idea what this stuff looks like. When I have my screen set up outside of 2 150 side by side, we got people still in the golf course that are still doing rounds. I don't know what they're doing. They're looking for balls or whatever they're doing out there. And they'll come over to the gate to stare at the screen because they can see it from the golf course. They think they're TVs when they come over. I said, no, they're projectors because they can't see the projectors because they got the log pile out there. And then with the light coming down from the spotlights, it cancels out any light pushing across. You can't see it because that's all being hit by spotlights. And they literally think they're TVs out there. These are the biggest TVs I've ever seen out here. No. These are projector screens right here. Yeah, they all the time. As a matter of fact, pretty soon I have a contract to set up. I'm paying somebody to do the installment for me because I'm not going over there. But they're going to pay for an installment to put a screen in that country club over there. And keep in mind, once my screen's in there with my logo, I'm going to have a metal logo on the side of it with my company's name on it. That means that country club over there has a lot of people who have a lot of deep pockets. And they're going to see that technology, and they're going to want it in their homes. That's the benefit of living across the street from a golf course. All right. But you have to be to show there's a difference. These screens at nighttime look insane. And yeah, as somebody said, well, black screens don't pick up all that, or lights up. Yeah, I haven't met my technology yet. So look at the red levels right there. Look at the horse. And like I said, right there, you think you're seeing a black level, that's washed out. Now watch the red come back into her shirt or jacket. That's why when I sit there and I tell people at the end of the day that your colors are washed out. When I sit there and tell you that your contrast is gray, and people say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, I know what I'm talking about, trust me. That's why I'm showing you the video, what you're actually getting at the end of the day. This is what you're supposed to have. My 720p projector, people. We're not using 4K. We're not using expensive projectors. A $270 outdated eBay projector with a 4,000 to 1 contrast ratio. That's it. Let's go over here and let's get this one real quick. I like this particular one when she's doing the jumps. Oh, let's get that red rose in there too while we're at it. All right, ready for this? And also too, for those of you that are curious about the motorized projection screen, got this over at eBay for 68 bucks, including shipping. Now, I don't know what it's going to cost you if you get it overseas, but over in the United States, it cost me $68. That's it. And this screen right here, I can use this to easily beat a $5,000 projection screen with no problem. You can convert anything you want. Well, certain things you can. I wouldn't try to convert. All right, we're going to do one more in here, and then we're going to switch over to some white levels because that's very important to do in these demonstrations. You agree? We both agree. That's why when I have customers who contact me, they don't have a projector, and they'll be like, well, what's your budget? And I go, well, it's like $3,000. Oh, no, you're doing too much. You're doing too much. $3,000? It's too much money. You save a lot more money than that. When people make a comment, I'm not going to leave that out. I'm not going to make that comment. But we save people thousands of dollars. Because at the end of the day, you're watching somebody take out a $5,000, $4,000 certified screen, 18 of that. Quite a lot of them. And he's doing that on a projector that would cost you under $300. All right, I'm going to pause right there. I like this particular one right here. This one with the flowers, or I'm going with the other shot. No, that one. There we go. That's the one I want. All right, let's check it out right here. All right. Got the black background. See how the flowers are popping. That's what I love about OLED demonstrations. Nice jet black background. Look at the different shade in the horse. Look how the flowers are popping. This is all very important. Let's take our screen out of the equation and show you what you actually get when you do with a white or gray screen. Watch the colors wash out. Watch the background disappear. Watch the red disappear out of the jacket. And that's what you actually get. Now you get it, like I said, you're getting a bump of improvement from the gray screen paint, but you still can't pick up contrast and you still can't see color. Because this is actually a shade of gray. That's not black. Look at the jacket on the female. That's supposed to be bright red. That's why I told you that when you're watching the demonstration with Disney, those colors, Disney has, anything that Disney does involving cartoons is crazy oversaturated with color. It is. So when you're watching the demonstration, that boy's head with those curls, those red curls, that is supposed to be saturated. It's supposed to boom, come out to the screen. You're supposed to see all the detail and the contrast. The white levels are supposed to push through. It's supposed to look like a TV, literally, even with the lights on. So much better the color looks here than on the gray screen. There you go. All right, let's get back to this. All right, we got that done right there. Now let's go over to checking out the white levels. Now, mind you, we test our screens out on white screens, certified white screens, all that good stuff. So this should be pretty much cakewalk. In our technology, it has to be, we know it's not going to be to produce the same white level as a white screen. It's not going to be to produce a same high white level. Some of the gray screens we test against, we do Seymour AD 1.3s as in matinee silvers, and all those screens are very high grade silver screens. We know they're not going to be able to do that, but a dark screen has to be able to maintain a certain white level that is going to be acceptable where you can see the screen. Because without that white level, those colors right here will not pop. They will not come up bright. You need white levels, or not only do you need dark levels, but you also need white levels at the same time to make a color pop. Do you know that? It has to be enough white levels to make the color bright and vivid, but it has to be dark enough to make it actually give it a more deeper, richer look to it, where it doesn't look like it's faded and washed out. So you have to do both of them at the same time. All right, Skyworth food demonstration, my personal favorite. All right, here we go. So first things first, let's get our screen out of the equation. And to show you that it is dark outside, yes, Mr. Bird has to be up in the morning for this one. There we are. Okay. Now let's put on the demonstration right here. Now, remember I told you, and this is actually true, any gray screen, I don't care if it's his, mine, the guy down the street, the guy up the block, the guy on the moon down over here, Saturn, universe, whatever, blah, 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 may be. Any gray screen, I don't care what it is, putting it against a white screen will never pull the same white level as a white screen. The only screen that can pull the same white level is a white screen. Anybody ever tells you this, that they're gray screen paint products, or any company that tells you this, they can pull the same white level? No. Matter of fact, we do got to test something. That screen called LUX, I have it here. You know, I have everything here for testing. Now that screen pulls up a really good white level. I wouldn't say it's close. This is the surface right here. Oh yeah, I have everything here. I have everything here. I make sure when I do tests, I do test screening. This is the screen that the fellow was very upset because he thought it was done incorrect on the video. But the problem, sorry, but you're going to have with this screen's going to reflect a lot of white light. The lighter the screen is, the more light's going to reflect back into your face. So this is the screen right here. A lot of people went out and bought. I got actually a 60-inch surface of it, and I had to stretch it out to a frame. And let's put this up here too also. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take the big screen out. All right, now that screen is lighter than the product I'm using now. I'm going to put this right here. And we're going to show you something here. Now, this is what I say. You got to be, even with this fellow, and I understand he's not a bad person. He's a cool dude and all. You know what I mean? He did something, did tick me off one time. He basically did some demonstration about, oh, well, products, great screen products, or you can do the same thing with some PPJ. Buddy, I make black screens over here. I put a PPJ screen to shame. I wish we have it over here too, because I bought it and did the demonstration. That's the last I heard of that conversation ever again. Yeah, you don't know my technology. Well, I say research me before you open your mouth, because it could come to an embarrassment for you. But this is something telling you right from the door. Now, like I said, in his mind, he feels that this screen is equal to a white screen. It's not. Again, the only thing that's going to be equal to a white screen is an actual physical white screen. So before we start this, let's do this real quick. White screen saver. Now, if this screen produces the exact same white level as a white screen, when I trigger this right now, this screen should blend into it quite well. And as you see, it can't. Again, the only thing that will blend to a white screen on white levels, the screen physically has to be white. Now, if you look at this right here, We got enough light reflecting off the environment to actually see and hear without having lights on. Literally, that's how much light reflects off your white screens. It's a lot. It's a whole lot. I can literally see everything in my environment. You know how dark my environment was a few minutes ago? I can see everything here with no problem. Now, if you look at the screens up close, this right here is the Digital One Crystal Screen Paint, which is a little bit more darker than this one. And this is the screen that they make. As you can see, the screen is much lighter than this one right here. And still, when laying up against a white screen, it comes up dark. Because, again, when I'm not trying to come down to this fella, but when you make a statement about saying that this screen produces a white level nearly as close next to a white screen, they're the same. No, they're not. That's virtually impossible. That's if someone tells you that their products or great products are producing white levels equal to white screens. No, because that screen right there it produces an amazing white level. It does, outstanding. But next to a white screen, no. And look at this. We're in the dark right now. We're in the dark, right? And this is how much light the screen is giving off in the dark. Literally, look at that. If you can see that. That screen is pulling out, reflecting back out the white screen like 941 lux. Can you believe that? Wow, that's a lot of light coming at your face at the end of the day. Yeah, so right there, no. This screen right here, it's a good screen. Trust me, it's a very good screen. I don't mock it. It's a very good screen. It is. The people who did an excellent job. But to make the claim that the screen basically is equal to a white screen, and unheard of, not going to happen. All right, so let's get the gray product up here. Put that right there. This is the lightest gray screen paint product that we made under Digital One Crystal Screen Paint. And we had a couple other shades besides that one, but that is the lightest one we have. And as you can see next to that particular product right there, which they call the Linguini, or sorry, I don't mean to say disrespectful, but Linguini, it has a weird name to it, so I just call it the Lux, L-U-X. Because it's an L-U-X, I-N-I, that's what it's called, but anyway, that's what I call it, the Lux. But anyway, as you can see, that screen is much lighter than this one, and even against the white screen, it's not going to pull a 100% white level, impossible. All right, so let me see. So, oh yeah, we got to get started with the Skyworth food demonstration. Okay, because I get asked this all the time, like, well, Ken, look, you're showing me contrast levels and colors. How are your white levels on this? All right, let's get a looky. So we'll click right there. As you can already know, the contrast levels are not going to pick up on either the white screen or the gray screen paint product. And as you can see, where it's coming in dark right here on the white levels, but it's picking up better reds and stuff like that. But the white levels are still low. Pause it right there for you. Let's bring down our black technology. Now, see what the individual didn't understand about these test demonstrations that we do. And these are test demonstrations we have to do on our products against lighter screens. If I'm doing an 18 screen certify versus my product, if you notice that only three or four of the screens in there are dark gunmetals. We got a blade in there by DMP Supernova. We have the Dark Star 9. We have a daylight screen, which I don't butcher that name all the time. So those are the three right there. And we have a matinee silver 0.9, no, matinee black 0.9. Those are the few dark screens we have. All the rest of them are light screens. CMRA AV 1.3. We have the, there's a CMRA 1.2. I think there's one in there like that. I gotta check for that one. We have a matinee silver. We have the cinema gray. We have a lot. We have there's an Infinity and Blade. Blade's the darkest one by DMP Super, and I think the Infinity is the lighter one. So we have several light screens. And then we have about 4 or 5 certified white screens by Viewstorm and some other companies we have in there. So yeah, this screen is tested against multiple shades of screens. So in order to do that, and then we do the white level test, where we put white pieces of paper here, we put certified screens here, back and forth. We take that big 150-inch screen and we drape it over top the screen and bring it down and bring it up and bring it down and bring it up. Yeah, we do all this stuff. That's why you can sit here and see the screen pulling a nice, bright image without anything becoming dark. Nice, bright colors. Look at the pans in the background. Look at the white wall. Look at the fruit. None of this could pull up if the screen was that dark. It'd be virtually impossible. That's why we know that when someone does demonstrations and it doesn't look right on camera, we know they don't have the actual product. That's how we know. It's a shame that people do. I've had a couple emails today from people saying it's a shame that people stoop to that level. But I said, and that's what you got to deal with. This is what you deal with in this business. You have to understand. You're going to run across people like that are going to do stuff like that to you. That's how people do. I told you where I worked in a restaurant, and there were two restaurants not even that far from each other, right across the street from each other, but they had a bit of a feud going on. And this was going on way before I started working there. And one of the guys wanted me to drop rats in their dumpster right around the time where they had license inspection going out there and inspect their property, when they dumped this big 5-gallon bucket of rats in their dumpsters and around in the area. I wasn't going to do that crap. Are you kidding me? No. It's just stupidity, because you two are having, and I've heard this has been going on for quite some time. I mean, even hiring fake customers to walk into someone's restaurant to claim there was glass in the food or bugs, or stuff like that. Yeah, doing dumb stuff. Only time I'm going to come out against someone's product, unless you basically come against my product. Other than that, I don't care about your stuff, but leave my name out of your product, mind your own business, and I go about my day. But if you open up that Pandora's box, you're not going to like what's going to come out of it. I can back my product 100%. If you want to tell me, Ken, what's the difference between your product and black paint? Well, there you go. What's the difference between your product and certified screen? There you go. What's the difference between this and that? I can show you with no problem. I like a challenge. That's what keeps it interesting. If it wasn't, I can just go back to being a chef. You know, I have a degree in culinary arts, you know that, right? And also a degree on IT tech. So I can just go back to that if I want to. But I love this field. Let's go back up. I can't figure out what I'm gonna do for Christmas. I got an 84. I don't figure out how many projectors I'm gonna need. I want to 3D map the house. I just might 3D map the front of the house. But no, let's do the whole, I want to do the whole side. Because the whole side of my house, when you come around the corner, you can see it from the golf course. And I want to be to 3D map that whole section. I'm thinking maybe like Santa Claus on a sled, like a whole animation, like maybe I wonder if I can do the Nightmare, I'm not sorry, Nightmare, that's the right song, sorry, Nightmare, on the night before Christmas. If I can do the whole animation right there on the side of the house, that would be cool. I want to do something really cool. I'm going to be hopefully get permission from one of my neighbors. He wants me to scan his house. So I've never had a chance. That'll give me some practice on scanning mine. But I'm going to need an interesting projector. You're not doing that with a long throw. You need a short throw to do that, because you have to expand that image out. And it's going to have to be a 5,000 lumen 4K short throw projector by Optima, and they're about $3,000. So it's going to have to be one of those to do it. All right, let's see. Okay, let's just finish off with this, people, because it's early in the morning and I got things to do. I got to finish. I got to go on Amazon. I got to get me that yoga mat. I'm excited about doing a yoga mat Black Phantom screen that I can lay on the floor, and I can do some bird's eye gaming with that. That'd be cool. Like I said, any screen you're dealing with, it's always, if it's a little darker than a white screen, it's going to drop automatically. The white levels are going to drop just a little bit. Darker screens, on the other hand, that's a bit of a challenge, because like I said, you got a screen that's jet black and it has to maintain a white level at the same time. Maintain color. White levels can't be too high, because that means bottom line is the contrast is going to suffer. Contrast can't be too high because the white levels are going to suffer. And if either one of you don't have a perfect balance between white and black levels, the color will suffer. Let's go over here. We're pretty much done right now because I don't want to go too far into this. I have to be up. I have orders for today that I have to get done. Really quick, just to plug this in here real quick. The acoustic screens, the 150s, are going to be removed off the site. Like I said, those are seasonal screens. We only spray them outside. The best time we do them is around spring to summer. So they're going to be removed off the site, and the gamer blackout cloth is going to be removed because that's seasonal too. I did talk to one of the fellows who just recently signed the contract with us. He's going to be taking that up, so you can go through him and purchase through him. We'll be posting this information up really soon onto the website. We're going to have a marketplace on our website for people who have contracts underneath of us, so you can go in and get information from there. Or bottom line, if you live in that area of that state where that contract is at, you can go there and you can actually purchase from there. Because like I said, we got stores going to be going up pretty soon where people are going to be these contracts are going to be displaying our items in stores. So, I got a couple of showrooms. I'm actually going to do a customized showroom for inside and outside where people can come in and they can see the technology on display in real life. So that's what I'm working on next. We're going to have huge bay windows painted up with the invisible technology. We're going to have an outdoor backyard area where people can come in and sit down, watch them on inflatable screens and outside screens and all kinds of cool stuff. Yeah, it's going to be pretty cool when we get done with it. And we're going to use all sorts of projectors. We're going to have 720p's in there. We're going to have 1080p's 4K. Give people an option that you don't have to spend money for this particular projector. You can get this particular projector, stuff like that. So yeah, keep in mind, when I do these demonstrations, I help out a lot of eBay merchants because any projector we have that comes through here, if it works out fantastic, we actually post the merchants with their permission because I contact them and say, look, I like your product. We did an unboxing on it. The projector worked out fantastic, good merchandise. If it's okay with your permission, if we can post your link. And that's what we do. We post our links. We had one guy in there was selling the 1080p Christie projectors. He was selling those. Man, I must have they sold out so fast. I didn't even get a chance to give me a second one. I was trying to get a second one, and I put that link everywhere. I have some people like, you get this link. These projectors are worth $1,000. He got them over here for $250. I put the link on Facebook. I put it on Twitter. I put it on Instagram. I put it, and every link we had on the page where I was showing up the projector. Yeah, he sold out quick. I went back to get myself a second one. I was like, ugh, no more. And the next time to buy two before I do that. Now, if I find anybody with Christie projectors, anything where I find a hot deal, I'll post a link. But first, let us get the projector over here first, test it out. If it does good in the unboxing, everything goes well, then at least we test it out. At the end of the day, if I get gypped on this, I'm good. I can just go over it. I pay for everything through my business accounts. They'll take care of it. I get the money back in my account about a week or so, and I'm good. Money projector goes back. But other than that, at least we get to test it first before you go out and buy it and you go, oh, what a waste. And at least we already did it already for you. That's why I know about these particular screens. I love these screens. They're like $68. Shipping is free. Get you in about 2 to 3 days to the house. We can paint it up and be done with it. All right. Let's see. Let's bring our screen back up again. Batman, Dark Knight, fight scene, Superman. I know, I butchered the living daylights out of that, but if it comes up, it'll be a Christmas miracle, and it did right there. We're good. Now I'm going to have to pause this because I can't actually play it because, like I said, it'll get me in some trouble. But we're going to see where we need to put the pause in that. I don't know where to get the ideas for these commercials. Are freaking hilarious. Can you imagine that? A tree comes down. First of all, I wouldn't even have any trees around my vehicle to begin with. Bad enough, we got enough widowmakers out there to kill you outside in the back of the house. All right, so there's Star Wars, my fault, people. I'm tired. There's Batman right there with the armor on and all that other good stuff. So right here, like I said, you think you're seeing a contrast level. This is not black. And mind you, when the screen comes over, it's still going to have to maintain that brightness and that glow in his eyes right there, right? Now you see all the detail pushed through. When I sit there and tell you on camera, you have no idea how much you are missing from your projector. You have no idea. There's so much you should be seeing from your projector. And I said, at the end of the day, I see some of these projectors and these setups. They are absolutely amazing projectors. Amazing. Sad that they will never ever get a chance to see what their screens are designed to do. Well, actually, the projector's designed to do because of the screen. Now, like I said, at the end of the day, if somebody comes up there and says, well, my product's different, it doesn't do that. It does. It does. We've done these tests already before. It does. The gray screen paint products are old. They're very, very old. I told you before, they date back. Those are old YouTube products, way, way, way back in the day when, when Goose Screen, like I said, was running the scene. And, if you didn't have $600 or $900 in the whatever freaking time it took to install the screen to begin with. And if you don't believe me, go take the time and look up how to install a Goose Screen. You got a couple hours on your hands, watch that for a minute. You're like, what the freak? Like, really? Yeah, you had to do that to install the screens in. It wasn't go take the roller and just go, over the screen. It'd be done different. No, you weren't doing that. You were going to put in perfect application on a roller. I've been painting for years. I still don't understand what a perfect application roll. You stick it in, you roll it, you pay something, dry it off a little bit. When you come out of the pan, so you don't have paint spattered all over the place, and you can do up and down or whatever formation. But this had to be a perfect. You couldn't dip it in. It had to be a little tap, like absorb it in, like you're soaking bread in the water. You don't want to soak it too much. You don't want too much. You had to put a perfect application on the roller. Then you would roll that out a little bit, and then you would go in up, start from the top, and go up, 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 up. You would do that. That's the first application. There were 3 of them in there to begin with. The screen took about 24 hours to somewhat dry. And for a full dry, because the screen was constantly curing, it was the liquid coming from the screen, it took 6 months. Which means in that 6 months time, if somebody went to your screen, you're doing that same process all over again. Keep in mind, this is a screen that required you to sand the wall down to it was perfectly flat. If you had any imperfections, any grooves, anything in the wall whatsoever, these imperfections would show up on your screen. So it's the sanding process. I used to watch in ABS forums where people were putting Goose Screens in. They would have the system come in to suck all the sawdust out of the room, and they would be sanding this wall down and sanding this wall down like day 2, still sanding my wall down, just trying to get that perfect flat surface, that surface that would have, and it'd be perfect. So this job that they would do on their wall wouldn't come up. Oh, heck no. Mind you, at the end of the day, there's still particles of sand in that environment, so you're going to have to clean that entire environment down before you even start the process. Yeah. I did a Goose Screen. I had to do a Goose Screen in order to see exactly. If I'm going to basically go against the competition, I had to know what I was dealing with. So I sold a few things. At the time, I didn't have a lot of money. Bought the product, got it down here, didn't even finish it. After I had to go through that process, I'm not doing this crap. I already knew exactly. I had to feel exactly what customers had to go through if they were basically painting that screen, what they had to go through. So when I developed my technology, I came on ABS forums, we took a timer, we stuck it up there, and I painted the screen in no time at all. I did it on a wall, had spray paint and markers, and had divots, the holes all on the wall, painted it over, did the demonstration, done, just like that. And that's where I met Mississippi Man. See, my history goes back way far. It goes back quite a bit on ABS forums. I know Mississippi Man. I'm quite aware of Mississippi Man. Mississippi Man had an ingredients that he was giving out for free. Not everybody in ABS forums has that Napoleon complex disorder. Not everybody has that, but this particular individual did. He definitely had it. So bottom line is we got into some words back and forth, and he started displaying his ingredients. We were selling ours, but he was displaying his ingredients. I give mine out free to the people. Yeah, because when I read through your freaking formulas that you had in there, 6 of those chemicals you had in there, my man, definitely you could have never passed a patent, or a patent pending would have never passed them. Number 1, a couple of them were extremely hazardous. 2 of them required a hazmatic mask. What the freak you were putting in that mess right there? Hazmatic mask. It was a pretty crazy instruction sheet. There were a lot of red writing and important here. I wish I had the original. He had poster on it. I wonder if it's still there. I'll dig it up and probably see if we can show you what was on it. But yeah, it was crazy. So that's the reason why you can't basically sell this, because, you know, U.S. government's going to say, hey, look, you're going to apply for this patent pending. We need you to do. We need you to list everything that's in the product, everything that's in there, list it, put the recipe right here so we can look at this and we can take it back and go, okay, you got like 12 things on here that we can't have for the consumer because this could potentially cause damage to them. So you may be denied getting it to begin with. So he couldn't pass it. There was just too much stuff in there. So he was giving it away for free. And then basically it required a sanding process, because at the time, everybody was following Goose Screen. Everybody was doing the screen paints where you had to sand the wall down. You know what I mean? If you're going to follow behind the big boys, everybody's thinking it'd be just like them. No, we did the opposite. We went into the wall, marked it up with spray paint, and threw food all over top of it, and put holes in it, and painted over top of it. Then the demonstration was done with the lights on, mind you. And that ticked him off. And that's what got us a ban from ABS Forums. That's where we got a ban. But they try to claim by saying that, oh, yeah, well, you guys were trying to sell the product. No, we weren't trying to sell the product, because at the end of the day, there was nothing there stating that where you could get it from. We just showed the demonstration. We just hurt somebody's ego. That's all. And then when we got into that incident with Screen Innovation, and we were showing how Screen Innovation was interested in us, now all of a sudden ABS Forums wanted us to pop back on the site. We wanted to talk and have discussion. No, forget you guys. You can bite me for all I care. Yeah. And it's still going to be this way to this day. Now, I do advise that, you know, if you're going to go in there and just ask for information, or whether or not, if you want to say, hey, look, what do you think is better, darker screens or lighter screens? They're going to tell you darker screens right from the door. And not all the people in ABS Forums are nice. There's some very, very nice people in there, but you do meet a lot of people in there who think basically they know everything. Okay, good luck with that one. All right, so we did Batman. We didn't basically do that part. Let's do, let me see. Well, pretty much, we already showed enough we need to see. I mean, you know the colors are not going to pull up correctly. White levels on our technology comes up quite nicely. Let's pull up, let me see. Let's do some light ones. TCL 4K demonstrations. Let's get some nice bright colors in here. Let's get, right here. Let's do these right here. All right, so we'll pause this right here. We got the women walk down. I've seen this demonstration falsified multiple times, where it'll show like a black. That's supposed to be us in that area, that little black screen in the area. That's interesting. It's funny because the same demonstrations we're asking for that person to do, they refuse to do it. But let's bring ours down, show you what we got. There you go. Let's bring this back up. We're going to bring it all the way back up. We're going to do a half and half. So you're watching the Phoenix do a half and half demonstration against a Digital One gray screen paint product and a white screen all at the same time. Maintain its color, maintain its white levels, maintain its color with no problem whatsoever. And we're in the dark doing this. And now you see why when we requested certain things and certain things got canceled. Now you see why. If I had that product down here, we were in this basement right now, this is what would be going on right now. Now you see why. Like I said, at the end of the day, Unless they can prove that their product is anything different, and it is what we say it is. If we say it's black and white paint, it is black and white paint at the end of the day. Because like I said, when you're doing a demonstration, even with the digital one crystal screen paint, but like I said, at that particular time, it wasn't required. Like I said, it was 7 years ago. It wasn't something that was required. What was required was the fact that you had to be to show that you could paint a screen in no time at all, do it on a wall that looked like somebody beat the living crap out of it. No sanding, that was the big thing. No sanding, no priming, use it with the lights on. That's what the big selling point for that product was back then. Now today it has to be ambient light rejection. You have to kind of show comparison to the screens and different forms of projectors. It's crazy, and you have to show the difference between your product and this and your product and that. Yeah. So we do a black screen. We have to show the difference between our black screens and black paint, black fabric, black hoodies, black t-shirts, black vinyl, mesh material, anything we can throw at it that's black that pretty much can show there's a difference between it. Gray screens, if you're developing a gray screen, you're going to have to show the difference between bare silver screen, bullseye, anything that's gray that can resemble your screen, you're going to have to show a difference. Gray fabric, whatever it may be, you have to show a difference. And that's why, so when we did the demonstration, it wasn't intentionally to make the product. It was to see how close we could literally come to it. If we just threw a couple of black teaspoons into this, how easy it was to come close to matching that screen. And it came exactly too close. It actually matched the screen. So that shows at the end of the day, this product wasn't properly tested. Because if they take a Phantom down to a facility and they take black paint, they throw it against that screen, they throw a white level on it, the Phantom's going to produce a high white level where the black paint's going to remain dark. They throw fabric or anything against it, it's going to do the exact same thing. It's going to be to remain its contrast levels with no problem whatsoever. Not contrast, sorry, white levels, my bad. That's why you have to do that. So until you can back that up, at the end of the day, it is what it's going to be. Just like with the black screen paint, you have to be to back that up. If you can't back that up, if someone has avoided that multiple times, not to bring up dead horses or whatever, beat the dead horses, if someone has avoided that, that's their first red flag right there. That's like you going in and getting your brakes fixed, and every time you go in to go get your brakes fixed, you get about your brakes, you talk about these particular brakes, they avoid the conversation about whatever they're trying to tell you about this particular item. If they're avoiding that multiple times, then there's something wrong with that item. I wouldn't suggest buying it. And what about the so-and-so and so? Well, look over here. We got this car over here for so-and-so and so, but what about the, yeah, you got to be careful about stuff like that. You have to be to back it up. Because chances are, if it's not someone else asking it, whoever's going to be buying from you will be asking for it. Let's do, let me see, Dolby Vision. Oh, this is a good one. And this is what they will have you zoom on real quick when you're watching this. See the demonstration here? They will have you look at this part. They're saying, see, look at the contrast level. Look how beautiful this is pushing up. No, the background. Anytime a contrast level is displayed on this level, especially this particular, these people do these videos right here, the background always remains black. That's what you need to look at first. They want you to see this part right here. So when I watch a demonstration, I'm staring at the background the entire time. Because the background tells me the whole story. If your screen can pull proper color, if you can pull proper contrast, tells the whole story. Just like when I watch a demonstration, I look at someone's environment. I'm looking at the background of your screen, your walls, your corners. That's what I'm staring at. Where is... And that's why people, at the end of the day, it is a bad idea to have a white or gray screen in your dedicated theater room setup. Because this is what you're missing. There we go. All right, I'll take my lights back on. Demonstrations with the lights off, lights on, lights off, lights on. And Sandy, stop, no kitty. And so with the lights on, the screen's supposed to maintain the same image. With the lights on, lights off. That's where the advanced ambient light projection technology comes in. So at the end of the day, these are the demonstrations that I do on the form site. I just show a simple can. We do the screen, which you just should go up and down. Is one of the demonstrations we do. Then I come turn my lights on, and I show them the meter read, and they go, oh, and that's it. Automatic sale that quick. Screen doesn't wash out, doesn't fade, still maintains the exact same way. That's how it's supposed to be. See how you can see the detail, even from the sweat drops or whatever, cool drops right there, and see how washed out it is here, how bland it looks. Blues are deeper here. White screen's not picking up jack. Starfield screensaver. That's the meter readings in here. A place for those who follow the path, as well as the grace of. Now see, if I pull back from it, because light constantly fluctuates. Bucks County. This is why we request Starfield demonstrations. Any kind of contrast demonstrations, we request them always in fully lit environments. You see the difference in the screen now in a fully lit environment that's being hit with a lot of ambient light to what it looked like in the dark? Now in the dark, they got a better chance of pulling a contrast level. As I told you to do this all the time. One of the tricks I like to do. In a fully lit environment, in this environment right down here, that screen will wash out. The screen's always supposed to remain black no matter what. That's how, when I told you in the demonstration, when I saw the screen outside, I told you it was gray. I told you up from the door it was gray. It was a gray screen. Sure enough, it was gray. Because a black screen, I don't care how much light you have in the environment, it doesn't make a difference. It's always going to remain black. It should never pull up gray. Never. Expand. That's a dark gray screen right there. That's what it looked like when I saw it outside. That's how I knew. That's the same color it pulled outside. Come on, people. Been developing black technology, I think, since 2015. I've tested black screens on just about every level you could possibly think of. I know a black screen when I see one. I'm an expert at it. If the screen is dark gray, it's going to display differently outside. That's why we asked for the side-by-side test done, the pour out. Because if he had poured out that paint, it would have came up gray and the other one would have came up black. Even on the side by side, you would have seen one over the other being difference. But what I noticed, the first red flag that triggered, not the first one I saw when he did the side by side with the square piece, the first screen being dark, white levels weren't high enough. That already knew what was in that from the door. I could tell from that UV has the same kind of reaction. The other screen on the other side was, and this is from, not to put them down, this is from what I discovered from what I've seen on the website, on the page. The other screen, basically, when pulling out the UV mix, the UV mix is really, really dark. It's a very dark, it's not black, but it's a very dark colored product. The problem with the UV it struggles to pull white light. It's a very hard time pulling white light, which shows me at the end of the day it was never tested against a white screen or any white surface whatsoever. And that's why that's something that would have been, if the screen was tested, it would have been the first thing to pop up. So it was never tested correctly. When he did the demonstration outside, when he showed the star field demonstration, when I saw that gray level pop up at the bottom, just like you're seeing right now, that's how I knew the screen was gray. It was a very dark gray, trying to make it passable for black, so that way they can maintain the white levels high enough to be able to compete with lighter grayer screens. One of the tricks that they use. The only problem is that when you display a star field demonstrations, they don't come up gray outside. They come up 100% black. Like I said, it's the equivalent of you having a black t-shirt, black car, what it may have. That car does not stay black because you drive it at night. In the morning time, it's still going to be black. And sure enough, when he did the demonstration again, laying against the screen, I said, look at the speakers. Look at the colors of the speakers. You see the color of the trim on the black and white screen behind you? See how close to black that is to the Phantom, to the Phoenix? Phantoms are actually dark enough to actually blend into that. So when I'm looking at the speakers in the environment, I'm looking at black objects, I'm looking at the screen, I'm like, wait a minute, this screen is not even close to being black. That's the reason why. But even though pulling up the UV mix and putting the UV mix side by side to that screen, the UV mix showed to be a much more darker product. So how do I have a product here by UV that is much darker than the product that the person is displaying in the video, and yet that's claiming to be a black screen when the UV is actually darker than that screen? You would have had a better chance of claiming the UV as being a black screen. But you can't use the UV mix because the UV mix would be too dark and the white levels would suffer. So you had to use something that could be almost passable for a black screen. The only problem is when you put a black screen against another black screen, they will show black. If you put it against a gray screen, you'll be able to see one from the other. Right now, my gaming cinema is darker than your black screen. And it's a gunmetal, it's gray, not even black. So that's how we know. So we'll take the lights out for a minute and show you the comparison with the lights out. So you see that they'll do those demonstrations in the dark, trying to make it passable for a black screen. I don't know why they do that to begin with. I don't know why. Because at the end of the day, if you're claiming something to be black, you know, you may be the full people on the camera, but people are going to buy this. They're going to use this in real life. They're going to use this in their home. They're going to know. You know that, right? They're going to know this. They're going to find at the end of the day that the product doesn't work. I've watched your customers' demonstrations. I've seen them all. Every last one of them in the dark. Very poor lit environments. So they're being told how to display these products. I should have thought first before going up the stairs to grab my remote controls and stuff. So now you can see, if you look at it in the dark, it looks like it's displaying a black level. That's why they use it in the ambient light controlled environments and stuff like that. The advantage point. They can never use it in a fully lit environment. And another thing too, just to add real quick, as for the meters, you're not supposed to have any extra lights in your environment when doing a proper meter test. The only lights that should be in the environment are the lights that are being used in that environment every single day. Adding any extra lights to that, because I see the person's trying to add extra light to his screen, then that means your environment's too dark if you have to add an extra light in there to hit the screen. Because the consumer is not going to take an extra light and hit a screen with it. He's going to use in the environment that he's using, that's where he's going to use the screen at. you're actually adding more to it that has to be in there. So the fact that you have to add an extra light in there shows that your environment does not pick up enough light in order for the meter to pick up. And you're trying to prove that your screens can pick up, what's the word for it? Work well in ambient light, even though you claimed your customers are not ambient light rejection technology. The problem you have here is the fact that in that demonstration, why we got deleted, why the YouTube channel did get deleted, because I went in and checked from a different account, the account was gone, it wasn't there. The reason why we know is because after that demonstration, we were going to switch over to another video demonstration, which would have showed the P2 in a dark environment, showing a more high-powered projector, higher contrast capability, darker environment, showing off the OLED Q demonstration, when clearly you could see in the other demonstration with the gray product that wasn't black, that the gray product was producing better contrast and color. White levels were lacking, but white colors, contrast and better color, and he was using a 720p projector in that demonstration with a distance throw, which shows you at the end of the day that darker technology is more advanced. But not only that, just to let you know that still there's no testing on this product to show that the screen is actually black. As you can see, it's not. And there's no real test on this product to show that at the end of the day, if it is black, it's next to black paint, because these are demonstrations that were avoided 6 times in a row. So after 6 times, we just, no point in asking anymore. So that's where the problem's laying at that. But we all saw what we saw. Channel got deleted because I thought I got banned from the channel. They blocked me. And I went in and I went to check. I said, did he just delete his channel? Oh, no, he didn't delete his channel. Because, why would you delete your channel? That'd be the dumbest thing to do. At the end of the day, it'd be really stupid. He has other things on there on his channel besides his videos. He has stuff he did with his family and stuff like that. So why would you delete those memories? That's crazy. So I was kind of shocked by it, to tell you the truth. So that's why I went in on my other computer, typed up his information. I put in Crow's Paint and nothing came up, as we all saw. So then he comes back and says, no, I never left the channel, so and so and so. Well, look, man, at the end of the day, you have to do better demonstrations. As I said before, you can't cheat your customers, and you have to be upfront about everything, and you have to stop cutting corners. If you're doing a meter test, there should be no extra lights in that environment. You should be showing the actual light that you use every day in your environment, just like down here in the basement or upstairs. Anytime we do a video every day, it's a different environment. Nothing changes about it. It's the same thing we do every day. But there you go right there. Let me get this off my screen real quick. I'm going to bring mine up for a minute. This is leaning against my screen. This is a big screen. So it's leaning against my screen right now. I had to motorized. I had this motorized projection for quite a few times. And I got interesting. People asking me how many coasters to take to damage the screen. It's about 30. We did 30, and the screen actually burnt out in 30. So it takes 30 applications to burn out a motorized projection screen. I've done that for it. It takes about 40 to cause a fixed frame screen to crack. I mean, literally crack like a piece of glass. Done that one too. I actually had one of those crack on camera one time. But yeah, that's the kind of stuff, people got to be honest, because at the end of the day, like I said, you're showing these high meter readings. You're not getting the whole point of the whole meter reading. The meter reading is just to show how much light the environment's taking in, but your screen still has to maintain a perfect image from corner to corner. That's why I don't like the cookie cutter screens. You have to do a bigger screen than that. Where did I just put the other stuff at? Right there. My stuff comes today. We'll be doing the red screen today, which I'm really excited because I want one of these for myself. I want a red screen, a gamer screen. All right, so there we are right there. Now, as you can see, you got the lighter gray product right there. Now, keep in mind, any product that's within that area, the lighter gray screen paints, the darker product is always going to pull up, of course, the heavier contrast level. That's why I was really interested in seeing that the UV, mind, the UV is very, very dark. So the UV would have been able to pick up a much heavier contrast level than the jet black fusion very easily, due to the fact that when I took the container and put it against the screen, I was like, look how dark the UV is compared to that. It would have easily picked up a Starfield demonstration, much darker than the jet black, which how can you call something jet black when you have a screen paint that's actually gray and not black, that's picking up a higher contrast level, which shows at the end of the day, neither one of the products are black. That's the kind of stuff, like I said, at the end of the day, this is how people are breaking down your videos that fast, that quick. You can't cut corners in this business. You can't. People can see it a mile away. And they'll explain it to you. Like someone's buying a screen for the first time, they're not going to see this. But a person's been in the field for a while, they're going to pick it like, oh yeah, look at this. I can tell from here, 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 here. We drop these videos in forum sites all the time. I even drop my own videos in forum sites for people to break down and see if they can break them down. All right, so let's come out of here real quick and let's pull up, because we put our lights on, you know what's going to happen. The screen's going to completely go back to gray. Let's put in, let me see real quick. Skyworth food demonstration. Now we're going to remove, pause this for a minute. Oh wait, I did the wrong one. Pause this for a minute. Let's take this out. This is going to be too much for my screen to come down over the top of this. This is a product that we made. And this product, we're not going to discuss what went in to make it. We're trying to keep things clean. But that right there is a product we made, a dark gray mixed product, very dark. Let me see. Let's come over here and let's pull up demonstration for this one. This is why you have to test them against white screens. You have to. Got to see where your white levels are going to come in at. It's better. I need it on a half and half. Now the gray screen should be to pull the higher white levels. You know why? Because it's not black. That's why. It's going to have a better chance of pulling higher white levels. Let's see how it compares to a Phoenix. All right, so we'll lock it right there. And a half and half, right? You stuck on right there. That's next to a white screen. This is why you have to. Yeah, I'm using my Verizon data plan, so I don't know what's going on with that. Am I on Wi-Fi? I better not be on Wi-Fi. Okay, I was about to say, I'm on Wi-Fi. Using my data plan on this one. All right, so you can see how dark it comes up. That shows us at the end of the day, this is a product that never was tested on a white surface. It should never come up that dark. Now, check out our technology. And there you go. Simple and plain. It's a black screen. Much darker than the, keep in mind, the UV is darker than the jet black Fusion by far. The jet black Fusion, if that thing ever laid against a Phantom, would basically fail miserably. A Phantom could pull higher white levels because it can blend into lighter screens because of its high ability to pull and see higher white levels. Its contrast levels are darker than this screen right here, 4 times darker than the screen. So its contrast levels are absolutely unmatched. And the screen has a perfect balance of color and white levels at the same time. And this right here, being a Phoenix, has an extremely high white level. Not as high as a Phantom, but as you can see, it is outstanding. I can take a sheet of gray, dark gray paint, and it still wouldn't be the match the white levels on the technology. It tells me at the end of the day that when I do these demonstrations with the screen being darker, being to pull a higher contrast like what you saw in the Starfield demonstration, be to maintain a beautiful image in a fully lit environment, pull a better color, but you can also see it maintains its white level. And this screen is darker than the dark gray screen you're seeing right in front of you. And that tells me when I do the test, it tells me at the end of the day that that darker product was never ever tested on a white screen. We'll do it again. Now we're going to do a pre-recorded version of this. We have the live version. We're going to do another version on Facebook, so we can have these presented. Because when I do the pre-recorded versions, because I don't know how my signal is going to be down here when I watch this again. I don't know how bad it's going to be. But so we can have it crystal clear. We do a pre-recorded version on this, and we do a Facebook. For some reason, Facebook shows up better down here. I don't know why, it just does. But the reason why we have the live demonstrations is to show you that there's no smoke and mirrors, nothing being pulled, no special effects. You know, it is what it is. But yeah, at the end of the day, as I said before, if we get a gray product down here that's claiming to be a gunmetal or darker product, and we run this test right here against this black screen, against that white screen, we can automatically tell from the door that the product, what's in the product, number one, and we can also tell that the product was never tested. Because if you've done a proper test, and this is one of the things that would have popped up against a white screen, our screen wouldn't even have to be there. And if your white levels came up that low on a white screen, that would automatically mean that you would have to take that product back and fix it to make it so the white levels come up a little brighter than that. They have to be much brighter than that. That's not acceptable. Now, if they did this on a standalone, there's no white screen behind the back of it, how are you to know exactly how low the white levels are going to be if you don't have a white screen to compare it to? There you go. Same request we asked for the black screens. Now, if you can't get the UV to push, what makes you think you can get a black screen to push? So that's why I said certain things were popping up in the demonstrations that didn't look right. When I showed you the Starfield demonstration, equivalent to all the light in the environment, the Starfield came up gray. We're supposed to be black when they come up. When I look at the bottom, and I saw the bottom of the bar that was coming up gray, that's another red flag that popped up. Screen's gray. When he did the demonstration, the first demonstration where he had the simple black, and I don't know what else there was, some fusion black, side by side, only one screen in there was black. I don't know what the other ones were. They were definitely not black, they were gray. When he did the demonstration land against the Cinemax, I looked at that demonstration, and I can see from that demonstration clearly that the screen was not black due to the fact that it wasn't matching any of the speakers, which are black speakers in the environment, and the UV mix container that we had in our hand was actually darker than the jet black fusion. And that screen's not black. And we have that right here. Our black screen can blend it and maintain its contrast and color all at the same time with no problem. See? Because the screen generates a high white light, that's why. So that's why these are things I picked up in the demonstration, you know, things I could see easily in a demonstration. Anytime we got to do a black screen, it has to be tested. Has to be tested against white levels. That's why I kept requesting over and over again. I kept saying, hey, where's your white level test? Where's your paint test, your black paint test? Where are these tests at? You know, yeah, you got to have these tests, man. If you don't have these tests, man, people can figure out your stuff real quick. And not just other people, companies will do it too. Companies will go in there and try to break your stuff down and try to figure out what it is. First thing they're going to go for after a black screen is black paint. That's the first thing that's going to pop up. Or it's got to be black paint. And when they throw that black paint against that phantom and that screen, they pull that white level and go, oh, shoot. They got to try to break it down, trying to figure it out. But at the end of the day, you know what I mean? You know, it is what it is. You got to test your stuff. As for those with the dedicated theater room setups, even if you go with a dark product, as I said before, if somebody makes you a dark, untested, dark gray screen paint and say, hey, look, you're going to pull the same contrast levels. You're going to pull contrast levels, but you will never be equal to a black screen. I don't care how dark gunmetal you are. You will never equal black. Never. As for white levels, that's another problem you're going to run into, because now you got to figure out the screen is this dark. Can it maintain its white levels too at the same time? So just because it's dark doesn't mean that it's good. I have to be to back that up. All right, let's go pop on some lights, and we're pretty much finished off here, to tell you the truth. Right there. I have to bring that one out for the demonstration. I have to do this again live. I actually have to do a pre-recorded on this one because last time we didn't have a big enough sheet, but we have a big enough sheet. Now this is the one I made. Keep in mind, it's not his product. This is the one we made. These are the sheets that we made basically to see how close we could come to actually matching one of his products. And this is something he should have did by himself. He should have literally did these tests by himself to show his, anybody should do this, but like I said, anybody making screen paints, but not just say him, anybody making screen paints should be doing these demonstrations. So that way you can show your customer that there is a difference between your product and bare silver screen. There's a difference between your product and other great products, other great screens, other great certified screens. There's plenty of them out there to do tests against. That's what you should be doing. And these are not demonstrations. You should be doing flashing colors across the screen. These are serious demonstrations. You should be doing solid color patterns, white levels, contrast levels. Demonstrations should at least be going into an hour or an hour and a half of explaining this stuff. If they're not giving you demonstrations like this and not giving you enough information, just a bunch of pretty colors, dark environments, yes, those are red flags all over the place. All over the place. You should be to see the difference in that. And that's why I was trying to explain to the individual, trying to tell them that, look, you need to do these products, that black and white mix that you got caught with, do demonstrations against that. Mix that together, put that against your products, show your customers there's no affiliation with this right here and this right here. It is something completely different. Like I said, from this individual, he's the one who started the whole, oh, it's black paint. They're scamming people. It's black paint. It's nothing more than black paint. First, we got accused it was gray paint. Yeah, we were accused first it was gray paint. There's no way in the world the white levels could come up that high on a screen that black. It's got to be gray. So we put a black screen and gray screen next to it. So I was like, no, they're two different screens. This is black, this is gray. Then when that wouldn't work anymore, then they came out with us saying, oh, it's got to be the settings in the projector. That's got to be it. It's got to be the settings in the projectors. Went back and did those demonstrations, proved them wrong again. Oh, it's got to be the settings in their cameras. They're doing tricks and stuff like that. We did 3 videos of my camera recording my other camera while showing my settings on my projector, while I did the live demonstration in 3 different videos. Couldn't use that anymore. All different ones they tried to use. I mean, it's crazy. Then it's got to be black paint. He's scamming people. It's nothing but black paint. We did a demonstration on the 7 way back about 2019 or 2018 of a 7 side-by-side product here, black paint here. Same demonstration just like this. Now, it's interesting that they ridicule us with all this stuff they come at us with. And now when we ask them the same thing they did to us, nobody replies back. No one tests, no one proves their product. What's the difference between your product and black paint? 6 requests, never answered. Can you do a pour out side by side showing both screens are both black? Never done. Can you show a demonstration of a white background of the UV mix showing the white levels against a white screen? Never done. Can I see a demonstration of the screen outside showing at so many feet back, producing this contrast level that you claim it can do next to a black screen? Never done. Never even done. Never even attempt, never even done. Reply back with just insults, and that's basically about it. So, if you're doing stuff like that, at the end of the day, it just clearly shows that the product does not work. So that's why I said, do your research first before you buy. We're in the dark. We don't have the lights on, so the screen should have a much better chance of pulling a better level for in the dark, These are tests you can't skip, Can't skip these tests. These tests have to be done. So I just did that demonstration on that green screen. That green technology we developed, if you saw the demonstration, I took the screen, I stuck it in the kitchen so you can see the actual color of the screen. Because people are saying, oh, is contrast shifting technology real? Yeah, it's real. Had the screen sit in the next room. We showed a demonstration in the other room, had the camera tilted, you can see both at the same time. You watch that screen turn dark right in front of you. And then I took another screen that actually is green, without any coating, without nothing in it, regular green paint, stuck it up against the screen, pulled on that Starfield demonstration. The other screen in the background had the coating, turned black. The other screen that had nothing in it remained green. Got to be to back your product up. Because at the end of the day, anybody can say, oh, any one of those color screens is just red paint, blue paint, green paint, that's all it is. Nothing else, all it is. Hey, you got to be to back it up. When people run their mouths and they say things like, oh, we can make your product, go ahead. I dare you. Make it. Make the product, post the ingredients, I'll copy it down, I'll make it here, and I'll put it against my own product. Let's see what happens. Okay. Let's be back your product. But at the end of the day, people, those who have dedicated theater rooms, don't go near dark gray screen paint products if you have not seen proper testing underneath of them. Because at the end of the day, you'll paint this stuff on your screen, and boy, especially with a dedicated theater room at that. Because keep in mind, I mean, it's a different area. You don't want to get paint splashed around in that area right there. But you're going to paint this screen in, get it done the right time, get it done the first time in the right time. You're going to have to do it again. Because if that screen paint comes in there, not saying but if that screen paint comes in there and it's claiming to be a dark gunmetal and it has not been tested on white levels, you may run into a screen that may pick up a very dark, dirty image if it's not tested correctly. Or at the end of the day, pretty much you probably could have made it yourself. And that's the same thing I said about the whole light gray screen paint products. You should have been doing those tests way before we did them. Way before we did these tests, you should have been doing these tests. It should have been done. So you can see that there's a difference. Because you could all deep be like, bullseye primer, they got a bullseye primer that's actually a pretty good color gray if you look at it. Like, put this on the screen, it's going to react the exact same way, unless you can show that difference. Let's go back up again. Oh, let's do this one here real quick. Let's do 4K snow demonstrations. Man, I cannot wait for, I only bake when it's freaking wintertime. Oh, I cannot wait. I got this new oven coming in. I'm going to rip that other one out, put this new oven in. I love to bake. You have no idea, man. Gingerbread. I'm going to make a banging gingerbread castle for the little one. Boom, boom, boom. I'm going to build a nice one. Yeah, I like to bake. It's the only time I do use it. Other than that, I don't like to bake. All right, we got the big snow doggy here. Big old snow doggy. It'd be nice if these animals you can have them as pets. It'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Now, see, we automatically know anytime you develop any dark technology, your white levels are going to drop, but they can't be that dark. Can't have them that dark. They come up that dark, it comes up really, really bad. You have to be able to maintain a certain white level. Okay, that's basically about it. That's right there. Good thing today I get to be outside today. You know, it's funny because most people are inside the house trying to do demonstrations, and we're trying to get the freak outside for demonstrations. Because, man, I do not like being in the house. We've been there, bored with being in the house. I mean, I know right now it's winter time, but who cares? I'm literally bored of being in the house. I like to be outside and do demonstrations. It is something fun about watching giant screens outside. Oh, I can't wait to get this short throw to 235.1 because I want to see my screen at 194 inches. Definitely want to finish that off. That's going to be pretty cool. The size of that bug right there, it's huge. Oh, that's not a bug. Okay. But we're going to be doing some more of these right here. Where is the whatchamacallit here? Back up on this one. Got Barry Manilow stuck in my head. Don't even ask why. There you go. See? Bam! Let's get cracking, Jackson. Yeah, it automatically lets us know. If your product comes down here, we automatically know it. We can tell what's in it, number one. And number two, we can tell whether or not if you tested it or not. That's why. Well, that's basically about it, people. I'm enjoying your home dedicated theater room setups. I'm going to be back on. I got to do a couple of short videos for a couple of sites I'm going to be going to see in today. We're going to be talking about dedicated room setups, basically versus black technology versus the gray products and the white screens. Showing you why it's a big mistake to use either the white screens or the gray screens and your dedicated theater room setup. And then we're going to be outside today with an inflatable screen. We're going to try to do a half and half today. We're going to do a half and half. I got to send that to a customer, but we're going to do a half and half on the inflatable screen. Half of it coated with Phantom, the other half coated with pretty much itself, by itself. That's pretty much it. All right, we got the frog teeth set up. I got to paint that on the floor when I get ready for the stuff to get here. And then we'll do that demonstration on the inflatable if it's not too windy outside. All right, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video demonstration. Thank you for your time. I got to go, and God bless. Music and passion.